I'll make it clear again that I'm speaking as a citizen of Largo and not in my capacity as a planning board member. I want to take us out big picture, what we're talking about here. And what we're talking about is housing and people getting housing. And I want you to go through my personal experience with my family and housing to understand the housing crisis we're in. The parcel that I currently live at, my family bought, was first sold in 1976 for $36,000. Adjusted for inflation today, that's $187,000. 87 years later, or 87, 11 years later, it was sold for $49,000. Went down adjusted for inflation to $130,000. 10 years later, my parents bought it for $69,000. It held that same $130,000 value. 3 months ago, a duplex with the same floor plan, smaller lot size, just 1,600 feet down the road from us, sold for $410,000. That means I have to earn 4 times more today than my parents, adjusted for inflation, to afford the same home. I was so proud to see our city host the Advantage Pinellas Housing Compact. And Commissioner Long at that summit said this is about elected officials making tough decisions. Tough decisions mean you make some people happy and you make a lot of people mad. This document right here, this SAP, has been in the works since I was 13. It is not something new. It's not something fresh. This has been a 20-year-long effort. In page 21 of the SAP, under the section titled Weaknesses, it states traditional suburban development patterns with isolated pods of development that are single-use, auto-oriented, and not well integrated and have deep setbacks. This commission and the planning board passed unanimously, understanding the weaknesses, passed this plan. Why do opponents want you to focus on smaller buildings and bigger setbacks and more parking? Because they know they can make the economics of these projects not work, and then nothing gets built. So I'll end with a quote from Mayor Pat Gerard when our city faced a similar push to development in the mid-2000s. We just need to do what we need to do and stop listening to those whiners. I urge you to vote no and maintain.
The gentleman that spoke, who spoke for himself after being a zoning official, probably should have recused himself from the initial hearing for a staff recommendation to move it up. I don't know what that's about, to just come here now and lobby as a citizen. That should have been part of something that did not go on at the P&Z meeting.
Drive Largo. Look, I get this isn't easy. This is not easy. These are people's homes, their livelihoods. I get that. I do want to correct some things that were said. First of all, I spoke to a staff attorney before addressing and speaking to the commission. I have every right as a citizen of Largo to address my elected officials. And as a member of the planning board, my job is to enact your elected will, and I will continue to do that as a public servant. I do want to say a couple other things. The developer was at our planning board meeting. The person for the developer, they said they approved of item 21 actually to get this moving. So I do want to make that clear that the person that was at our planning board speaking on behalf of the developer was fine with 21 if it would get the ball rolling. The commission is now past 21, has passed that land use. This flume is in accordance with that, and it should be passed accordingly. I just want you to remember, we're talking about 744 acres of Largo in the SAP. 6,000 people in 2017 lived in that SAP. There are 244 affected parties by the previous items changed. And when we had a meeting in February, only 35 people attended that public meeting. We are talking about a fraction of the city. And we need to make sure we're focusing on all 80,000 residents plus of the city of Largo. Thank you.